Hey, what's going on, traders? Thanks for checking out this video. My name is Travis from Master the Market, and in this one we're going to break down how to create trade plans that are going to set you up for success in the market the following day. Now, in the Market Master group, one of the things that we provide with our premium traders is going to be trade plans every single night that are going to break down some of the biggest movers from the previous day and how we can look to trade these stocks for either a continuation or a reversal. And then we also provide different setups that are going to be on the verge of a breakout, or maybe they're starting to build some momentum to the upside. But regardless, these trade plans can be very helpful, and we're going to break down how you can create trade plans of your own. All right, so we can see in the trade plans yesterday we had 4 stocks here. We had IMUX, we had SOBR, we had PEGY, and then we had FNGR. If we take a look here, IMUX, this was a big runner on Monday, and we were looking for the $6 level to turn into support because it was a previous resistance level. And if that happened, we would be looking for a continuation to the upside. If we take a look at the chart here for IMUX, we could see here that at the open, this $6 level did start to become a bit of a level of support. And then we get our continuation to the upside. It's currently up a little bit over 8% for the day. So this was a nice profit potential here from the trade plans for this one continuation. Another one was SOBR. We were looking for a dip buy in the 250s because that is currently where the trend line support is at. If we look at the chart here for SOBR today, it hasn't quite gotten down to that level yet, but it is getting close. And once that gap is filled and it does bounce off of this trend line support, this is going to be a really nice opportunity for a recovery back up to 3+. And then we have FNGR, which was going to be a potential breakout trade as it was forming a wedge pattern. So we were looking for the $8 level to turn into a bit of a support level, which would be a buy signal for the next leg up. And we can see that FNGR early this morning, it did start to show some support above that $8 level, starts to break out of that wedge pattern, and it is kind of pulling back at the moment. But again, this is going to be a potential breakout later in the day. It already was up about 6 or 7% this morning. Okay, but regardless, I know that these few examples are nothing crazy, but these are really simple trade setups that are going to provide consistent profits in the market with pretty low risk, as opposed to some of the stocks that a lot of people tend to focus on with their trading. Now, if you're interested in receiving our trade plans every single night, again, these are provided to our premium members in the Market Master group, and there will be a link down below in the description to sign up. Also, we do have a completely free trading chat. This is not going to provide you with the trade plans, but there are some great trade tips and even trade setups that are provided in the trading chat every day for free. And that will also be linked down below in the description. So come join us and come chat with us. But with that being said, let's get to the reason that all of you are here watching this video, and that is, how do we create these trade plans? How do we find the stocks on the trade plans? And how do we know where the ideal level to buy and sell these stocks is going to be at? Now, first and foremost, one of the main ways to find stocks on your trade plans is going to be to look at previous runners. A lot of times stocks will run for multiple days in a row. So after a stock had a big spike up the previous day, that stock is going to be a good candidate for a continuation the following day. Just like we saw with IMUX, which was one of our trade plans last night. We could see that yesterday this was a big runner. It had a gap up. And actually yesterday we were looking at this as well for a gap and go, which ended up being successful. It trended up higher all throughout the day, and it had a very strong close above an intraday resistance level here at about $6. So that is why this was such a good candidate for a continuation today. So by simply keeping track of stocks that are spiking up and that are making big runs, maybe putting them into a separate watch list in your trading platform, that's going to be a very quick and easy way to find stocks that you can potentially put in your trade plans. Now, I do want to say that not every big runner from the past day is going to be a good setup for a continuation the following day. And if we take LUCY, for example here, this was a big runner on last Friday. We could see that there was a big gap up, and then it kind of traded sideways for most of the day. However, right before the close on this day, you can see that there is a big dump, and it sells off all the way down to the day's low before closing for the day. Now, that stock is not going to be a good setup for a continuation, because if you think about it, This stock traded almost 60 million shares on this day. And if we go ahead and draw a box here, a vast majority of those 60 million shares were traded within this range here, because that's where all of this price action is taking place for the day. So after that big sell-off to the downside before the market closed, you have to keep in mind that just about everybody that is still holding a position from within this range is now going to be at a loss going into the following day. So that means a lot of people are going to be ready to sell into a spike the following day to, get out at break even, or to maybe get out at a small profit. And all of that selling is going to make it really difficult for this stock to get back up to the highs and to break out to new highs. Okay, so what we see the following day then is that we get a gap down, and then we do not see much bullish activity go on. It has a little bit of a bounce midday, but again, it was still down quite a bit from the following day. Okay, now the next way to find stocks to potentially put in your trade plans is going to be to use some kind of screener or some kind of scanner. Screeners and scanners are going to let you put in specific information to find stocks that are meeting your specific criteria. So for example, if you're looking for stocks that are oversold and you believe that they are due for a bounce to the upside, you can find a screener or a scanner to easily find stocks meeting that criteria, and then you can add those stocks onto your watch list and potentially into your trade plans for the following day. So a free screener that you can use and that I always recommend to new traders is going to be here on finviz.com. If you come to the website and then click on screener up here at the top, you can see a ton of different criteria here that you can put in to narrow down the market to stocks meeting that specific criteria. And if we stick with the oversold example, we can see that we have an option here for the RSI. And we know that, of course, stocks are considered oversold typically when the RSI is at 30 or lower. So if we select 30 or lower, we can see now that we have a total of 1,106 stocks with an oversold RSI. That is quite a bit more than you would usually see with this criteria, but that is just because the overall market has been pretty bearish and has been selling off quite a bit to the downside lately. But if we wanted to narrow this down even further, we could say, we're looking for stocks with an average volume of at least 300,000 shares, and we're looking for a price maybe over $10 per share. So now we're down to 285 stocks. From there, we can just kind of go through some of these charts, look for the best chart setups, and start to add some of those into our trade plans. Okay, but then once you have a small list of stocks that you're going to potentially use for trade plans the following day, I like to personally narrow down that list to maybe just 3 to 5 stocks, because at the end of the day, you don't want to be very overwhelmed going into the following day. If you have 10 different stocks that are all going to be potential trades, all of them have ideal entry points, it's going to be very difficult at the market open the following day to keep track of all 10 of those stocks and to know exactly where the ideal entry point is, even if you do have them written out in your trade plans. Okay, so once you narrow it down then to just maybe 3 to 5 stocks, the next step is going to be to do some technical analysis to figure out the ideal way to trade these stocks. Again, a lot of times it is just going to be a continuation setup if you're looking for stocks that were runners the previous day. Okay, so if we take a look at some of the top percent gainers for today, for example, let's take a look at DICE. Now the market is currently still open, so it is a little bit more difficult to make trade plans for tomorrow when the market hasn't even closed yet for today. But right off the bat, if I'm looking at this stock as a potential stock to go on the trade plans for tomorrow, I'm going to see that right out of the market open, this has been downtrending for the day. So as of right now, this would not be a good setup for a continuation. Instead, I would maybe look to short sell it into spikes or short sell it into bounces as long as that downtrend remains intact. Another example is going to be LACE, L-A-S-E. This was a nice gap and go this morning that we were talking about in the chat room. So as of right now, this is one of the top percent gainers for the day. It's also looking pretty bullish. It's trading above the VWAP and it is trading above the pre-market resistance level. So this would be a good setup for a continuation for tomorrow, assuming that this strength remains into the market close today. So all you have to do from that point on, after narrowing down the market to 3 to 5 stocks, which really in my opinion is the hard part of creating these trade plans, is do some very basic technical analysis. You can draw lines of support and resistance on your chart like we see here. If there is a clear level of trend line support, maybe you would draw that on your chart, and your trade plans would be something along the lines of buying the dip at trend line support. If there was a clear level of overhead resistance, you can use that then as a profit target area to, obviously sell and lock in some profits. It doesn't have to be super complicated. You don't need to have, tons of different indicators and moving averages on your charts in order to create these trade plans. You're just looking at very simple levels of support and resistance, also known as supply and demand zones, and using those a lot of times for your entries and your exits the following day on the short list of specific stocks that you've curated from your scanners and from your screeners. All right, so hopefully that gave you an idea of how you can create some trade plans and set yourself up for success with your trading. After all, it does pay to be prepared in the stock market. So I do highly recommend you take advantage of using watch lists and creating your own trade plans to do so. But anyway, thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed and found some value in it. If you did, please make sure to give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you want to learn more about day trading, swing trading, and investing, and join us in our trading chat, you can find links to that down below in the description. Thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and good luck with your trading.